Movement for Credible Elections, MCE, has slammed a major lawsuit against the federal government, the National Assembly, and the Nigerian police for violently disrupting the peaceful protests of Nigerian citizens initiated by the MCE, which took place on the 17th of February 2026 at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Joining us on this show to discuss the imperative of the movement for credible elections is Professor Pat Utomi, a renowned political economist and public intellectual. He's a member of the movement for credible elections. He will also discuss the upcoming elections as Nigeria gears up for 2027. Good morning, Prof, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, Ruby. Let me begin by saying that my heart is really, really heavy this morning. It takes a lot to hold back the emotion that's welling up from inside of me following the Palm Sunday massacre on the Plateau. Every new day, something reminds us of the crushing of our humanity in Nigeria. The very essence of our humanity is solidarity. The ability to feel other people's pain. If we lose it, we've lost everything. And we seem to be losing it. We seem to have a political elite that sees the death of Nigerians as just another statistic. It is not. It is a sad, sad moment for our country. And what's even more, Ruby, these deaths were predicted long ago. I know you will quickly take me back to Kaplan, who I often refer to. And Kaplan, in 1999, pointed exactly to the Plateau as where West Africa's descent into anarchy could begin. And when the first one happened in 2022, it was in this same very place. And after all these years, we cannot fix it. It shows that the Leviathan has lost its essence, because that is the very purpose of the common will. Thank you.
Well, pain on the plateau, hell on the plateau, tragedy on the plateau, a reminder of a lot more that the Nigerian government will still have to do. Prof, let's start with latest developments in the polity. The conventions just concluded. What do you think of them? PDP convention, APC convention, and their movement sideways, wherever, in what direction, within the polity. We just had Dr. Kwankwanso joining the ADC, and Kwankwanso and Mr. Peter Obi, your very good colleague in the ADC, all talking about what they call Pitankwa. Is that a possibility in the ADC, which is the party that you belong to? And do you have any hope that there will be credible elections?
That is the big question. Will there be credible elections? Everybody who's a trend watcher can see that there is a deliberate, and I'm not kidding about this, deliberate attempt by the ruling party, by those in power, to exclude significant political opponents from actually being on the ballot box using capture of INEC, the judiciary, and those institutions. And I'm willing to sit and analyze and show how this is the truth and nothing but the truth. But the Nigerian people are ready to meet them this time. First and foremost, you talked about the conventions of PDP, APC. You know, years ago, Chief Bolaige, looking at Sani Abacha's games, described the 5 fingers of the same leprous hand. APC, AP, PDP are 2 sides of a coin that is somehow lost. INEC's rush to validate the so-called new executive of the PDP, clear evidence that INEC is a parastatal of the APC and is about to bring democracy to a solid, sad end in Nigeria if the people do not arise and take their country back. Look, there are things that politicians do that are games, but there are things that really set back our people. And the desperation, if the party that is in power is popular, it will say, let's go and test our popularity with the people. But the one thing the APC doesn't want to see is the vote of the people. It does not. Because it knows that the pain in the country, the disaffection that has come from how poorly the people live, how angry the people have become from the misery index that is their condition. Take any misery index in the world. Nigeria is almost at the very bottom. Number of deaths at childbirth. Just take any, and I'll show you that Nigeria is either at the bottom or near the bottom. And instead of politicians who run such a country to come to the people and say, mea culpa, we would like to turn a new leaf, but test us out. They are trying to prevent the will of the people from emerging. Well, they've gotten away with these kinds of things in the past, but not anymore. Because the people are ready for them. If they try anything extraordinary, they tear-gassed people trying to have ordinary, simple protests in front of the National Assembly to say, we don't want this. We've gone to court to essentially challenge what happened in National Assembly on February 17th. And we are returning to court to seek a repeal of that so-called Electoral Act. Even if the courts are manipulated as they may be, we are in two courts, the court of the people and the courts of law. And those courts will sort themselves out. This could be the fire of the Hamatan on the Sahel if people are not careful. Nigerians have had enough of being intimidated and bullied by political actors, and if they are not careful, they will reap very painfully. International criminal courts will try them. I'm assuring you of this, no matter the state of what the world seems to be right now. Because I have been in this struggle for a long time. We fought Abacha together. We saw what happened to Abacha. We have reached a moment where conditions presently, in terms of manipulations of the executive branch, are worse than they were under Abacha. And if we don't do something, there will be no Nigeria to redeem. This is the state of our country right now.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Now, you've often talked about the way forward, and one of the things you said in the past is that a mega party with a coming together of the major opposition figures would be needed to challenge the status quo. Now, with the announcement this morning, we talked about Dr. Rabi Musa Kwakwanso, who is the third piece in that puzzle coming on board the ADC. Do you believe that the ADC has a fighting chance? Recall, and I want to put side by side some of the, potential challenges. The Nafiu Gombe faction, the, disagreement in the events that one party gets the ticket against the other. Would the other party be willing to work in unity? So the unity of the ADC, essentially. What are your thoughts on this? Because now we have the mega party. The three principal opposition leaders have come together. If you put their votes together in the last election, they could potentially win the election. What are some of the challenges that might be posed, and is it possible to overcome them?
Not only is it possible, it is very self-evident if we have credible elections. Just take it from this. Let's begin by looking at the elections, the last one, and the votes of these people. Accept that the last elections were not credible, that many of those votes given to these opposition leaders were significantly doctored. Go and look at the foreign documentaries done on what happened in Rivers State and several other places, Lagos State. You will find that these people have more than probably twice as many votes as they were given in the last election. So in pure statistics, they have more than enough votes to overtake those in power, who came to power with truly, honestly, less than 20-something% of the vote of the Nigerian people. This is ultimate minority rule. And coming to power in that way, they then go ahead, looking at how institutions have been abused, to try to manipulate processes such that they can suppress the will of the Nigerian people. But the Nigerian people, through this movement for credible elections, are saying no. And let me tell you amongst the things that we will do to prevent them from getting away with it. They manipulated the laws so that the freedom of association in Nigeria is truly vitiated by this business of whether you can move to this party, the kind of timetable that INEC deliberately forced on the system to prevent people to have the flexibility of options. And then they have come with their consensus thing and all of that. That's fine. But I tell you, it reminds me so of Argentina. Argentina and the United States were at same level of development in 1928. Argentina, with the Peronist movement and all of that, playing the kind of games these people are playing today, brought their country to a place where by the 1990s, it was at West Africa level GDP. And Argentina has been struggling. That's what these people are trying to do to Nigeria. They may not realize it. But if they get away with this mess, Nigeria will be a beggarly country in a few years, in spite of the endowments of this country, the resources flowing everywhere. And the Nigerian people must say no to this. What we are doing as civil society is to create options that prevent them from getting away with what they used to get away with. They have tried to create a situation where they say manual collating is a fallback, because it's true that most of the rigging takes place. Even after INEC, NCC assured before the last election that they had enough coverage in the country and would be in a position to ensure that transmission real time takes place. Even after they know from the system, all of them use WhatsApp, that if you upload, it will be, once the network comes, it will register. We are setting up our own independent IREV. And there'll be more than one, civil society. And once the elections take place, they are photographed, uploaded. They will report in CNN, Al Jazeera, everywhere in the world, the results of the elections, clear in Nigeria. And it can continue to fool itself with its role, but the Nigerian people have had enough. We are setting up election marshals, vote marshals, that will man every polling station in this country. Enough is enough. A political class cannot keep a people down. Nigeria is too endowed to be what it is, because a few politicians don't want inclusion to bake a big cake that will take care of everybody. They want to grab the small cake that is there, keep it all to themselves, and let misery rule the rest. That is enough. We can't take that anymore in Nigeria.
Prof, I'm really excited you talked about, and good to see you again. Good to see you in good health and doing well. I'm excited you talked about, Argentina and how that country went decrepit in the 30s as an indication for what we might be. But Prof, people like you fought in the struggles against the military. Your compatriots in that struggle is leading the country today as president, your very good friend. Where did we go wrong? We thought, as at then, that once people that fought in that struggle got power, it was an answered prayer to the ideals they had then. But today, the same class of people and contractors that benefited under the military are the ones benefiting under this government. When your compatriots got power, we thought it was going to be bye-bye to the military days. But today, people are beginning to say these same compatriots are not different from the people they fought. The contractors are the same. What happened to us?
Rufai, you can't be more right in the way you state it, but you know, Shakespeare said long ago that there is no art to find the heart construction in the face. And so you have to take people for what they present themselves to be, but action eventually tells you who they are. Now let me go back to that 1990s season. As the elections were approaching, as the military decided to withdraw, we in civil society, the concerned professionals, had to decide what to do. In 1998, in a meeting that took place in my office on Idowu Taylor in Victoria Island, the question was put, now that General Abdul Salam has announced withdrawal of the military, what should we do? And somebody like the late Waziri Mohammed urged that we become a political party, take all these philosophies we've enunciated and move in and set Nigeria on the course that we have prayed for. Donald Duke was very much in support of a similar process, but even if we didn't start a party, go into the parties that are being founded and take over, literally speaking, some who were business executives said, look, we are civil society. We have come out as citizens to say some wrong cannot continue. If we choose to become politicians, people may say that we are opportunists who have come forward because what we were looking for all the time was power. I, with apologies to all of Nigeria, can say to you here that I backed that group. So that even though I had political experience, exposure, and all of that, even though I had accompanied Dr. Alex Ekweme to those meetings that came out of the G34, I felt that if a majority of the professionals who we had provided leadership said, let it not seem like our goal was power, that I owed it to myself not to become an active office-seeking person in politics. And so we offered whatever we could do to make sure the system worked out well. I served as chief of the policy advisory board or group for candidate Olusegun Obasanjo, just to make sure that they did the right thing. We had our fights and all of that, and we chose not to. After that meeting in my office, just outside 21, I believe, or 20, Idowu Taylor, Donald Duke turned to me and said, okay, well, I'm going to go to Cross River and organize the place, and we'll take up. And they did that successfully. We took the view of the majority not to participate in politics, but that is the single biggest error we made. Because we thought the traditional politicians would come in and give Nigeria leadership. But many of them were still too suspicious of the military. Without the exception of a few like Dr. Alex Ekweme, many didn't want to come. They thought military would play the Maradona game. And what happened? The bagmen of the soldiers moved into public life. And we've not recovered from it since.
Prof, just before
yes,
we go,
Ruby.
Will it not amount to a contravention of the law
Yeah.
to set up an alternative IREF to announce results? Would that not be...
There is no such... It is not contravening any law. We are just like American...
That's outside the purview of the Electoral Act.
Nigeria... No. This is not about the election. It's just about communication. We are not saying that this is official. We're just saying this is the result as it is taking place. World see it. They can announce what they want and then let the global opinion take sway. But we will provide the truth to the world.
All right. Well, thank you so very much, Professor Patutomi always an enlightening conversation with you. We look forward to our next interview with you here on Arise News, the morning show.